Have you ever felt like life is just happening to you? Like you're caught in a current being swept along without any real control? It's a common feeling, this sense of being adrift. As if you're a passenger in a car, gazing out the window while someone else is firmly behind the wheel deciding where you go and how fast you get there. Many of us avoid accountability because it feels heavy a weight we're not sure we can manage. Like a burden we'd rather not carry, a responsibility we'd prefer to pass on to someone else. But what if avoiding responsibility is actually the heaviest load of all? What if shirking our duties and blaming external factors is adding to our suffering, not alleviating it? Imagine carrying a backpack filled with blame, excuses, and justifications for why things are the way they are. It slows you down, making every step feel like a monumental effort, even if you pretend it's not there, even if you try to ignore the weight on your shoulders. We often tell ourselves stories about why we can't change, crafting elaborate narratives that explain our inaction, thinking it protects us from discomfort, from vulnerability, from the possibility of failure. But by giving away responsibility, by relinquishing control over our own lives, we give away our power to change our circumstances, to shape our destinies, to become who we truly want to be. We end up stuck, waiting for the world to change for us, for opportunities to magically appear, for problems to solve themselves, which rarely happens, leaving us feeling frustrated and powerless. The first step to real change, to shedding that heavy backpack, is deciding to become the author of your own story, to take ownership of your narrative. That's how you start to lighten the load and begin moving towards a brighter, more empowered future. We dodge accountability. It's a common human tendency, a way to protect ourselves from discomfort. But what are we really avoiding when we sidestep responsibility? We do this by blaming others or our circumstances. It's easier to point the finger than to look inward. Missed a deadline? It's the boss's fault, or the team's fault, or the software's fault. Anything but our own lack of planning. Argued with a friend? They misunderstood, they're too sensitive, or they just don't get it. We rarely consider our own role in the conflict. We become experts at finding reasons outside ourselves, crafting elaborate stories to justify our inaction or mistakes. Sometimes we blame our past, the experiences that shaped us, the environment we grew up in. I can't succeed because of how I was raised. It's a convenient explanation, a way to avoid taking responsibility for our present. These stories can feel true, especially when we've repeated them to ourselves for years. But they build a cage around us, limiting our potential and preventing us from moving forward. Excuses like I'm too tired to exercise, too tired to work on our dreams, too tired to connect with loved ones, or I don't have time. A constant refrain in our busy lives used to justify neglecting our goals and priorities. These excuses shield us from the fear of failure, the possibility of not measuring up. But if we never try, if we always stay within our comfort zone, we never succeed. We remain stuck, watching others achieve what we secretly desire. Blame and excuses promise safety, a comfortable illusion of control, but they only deliver stagnation, a life unfulfilled and a potential unrealized. These habits come from fear, a deep-seated anxiety that drives our avoidance of being judged, of being scrutinized and found wanting by others, of being wrong, of making mistakes and facing the consequences of our actions, of not being enough, of falling short of our own expectations and the expectations of others. In the end, they lock us away from our own potential, preventing us from becoming the people we are truly meant to be. Avoiding responsibility teaches us helplessness. Each excuse or blame reinforces the idea that we have no control. We wait for others to change, feeling powerless and stuck. It's like being in a boat with no oars, drifting wherever life takes us. We give up steering our own course out of fear of making mistakes. This mindset keeps us small, robs us of courage, and stops us from growing. We stop taking risks, stop speaking up, and just accept whatever comes the cost. We lose the chance to build a life that reflects who we truly are. We trade our potential for a false sense of safety. The paradox of life often presents itself in unexpected ways. One such paradox is that true freedom, the kind that resonates deep within your soul, comes not from escaping obligations, but from embracing responsibility. It's about understanding that your choices shape your reality. It's about facing challenges head on, not avoiding them or shirking away from what needs to be done. When you own your choices, both the good and the bad, when you acknowledge their impact, you take back your power, reclaim your agency, and become the driver of your life, steering it in the direction you desire. Responsibility isn't about blame or striving for impossible perfection. It's about courage, plain and simple. It's the courage to learn from mistakes, to see them as opportunities for growth, and to ask with genuine curiosity, what can I do to make this better? How can I improve this situation? This shift in perspective, this willingness to take ownership, moves you from a place of helplessness and victimhood to a space of empowerment and control. Start by noticing those moments when you instinctively make excuses or point the finger of blame at others. Simply becoming aware of these patterns is the crucial first step towards breaking free. Each time you choose to look inward, to examine your own role in things, you build a new habit, a stronger muscle of self-leadership and personal responsibility. Ultimately, accountability is not a burden, but an act of profound self-respect, a declaration of your own worth. And it's the bedrock, the solid foundation upon which you can build a life of real and lasting happiness. So, pick up your oars, even if it feels awkward and unfamiliar at first, even if you stumble along the way. Choose to take responsibility. It's the most liberating and empowering choice you'll ever make, a pathway to a life lived on your own terms.